Everyone, sorry this is out a little bit late. I was at the game thanks to Alex from the Different Knock. You all obviously know Alex. Big thanks to him for inviting me to the match. But Arsenal won 3-0 and it was a pleasure. And it was one of those games where you're just very relaxed. And people keep asking about this Champions League format, you know, have we kind of lost the tension a little bit? Do these games feel like they don't matter as much sometimes? And I'll tell you what, when you look at Bayern, Man City, PSG, Juventus, Real Madrid, I mean, they would tell you that these games probably do matter as we approach the final two, and they're in a bit of a struggle. So I think the final two games of the Champions League league phase could get really interesting for some clubs. But to a degree, yes, there is a little bit less pressure off. But at the same time, I think there's room for that in football. I don't think every game always has to feel like, you know, your season's on the line. Every Premier League game does, to a degree, feel like that. It's kind of quite refreshing to go to the Emirates or watch it from wherever you're watching it, feeling pretty confident your team will win, seeing them win, score 3 goals. They should have scored 7 on the night. Thought we were good. So yeah, just a little bit of context around the game in general. But look, Arsenal won 3-0. There were some questions over the starting 11 availability of players. Timberwolves on the bench. We know that he wasn't spotted in training footage, but made the squad, came on at left back, looked really good. But the big one was that Lewis Skelly started left back, the 18-year-old, getting his, I believe, first start for the Arsenal first team. And against Monaco in the Champions League, I mean, that's really massive congratulations to him, to his family and everyone around him that have helped make this happen. It's a really, really big moment. And may I say, he was utterly brilliant. And look, I think, I don't actually know what I'm going to title the thumbnail at the time of recording this. I really want to talk about our finishing 1-1. I feel like that could be a big part of this conversation and this match report. But if I do mention him, you know, ultimately, whether it's mentioned by the thumbnail, the title, or just here in the video, I mean, really massive congrats to him. I thought he was brilliant in tight spaces, in the duels, in his composure, in his passing range. And ultimately, he picks out that first pass to Gabby J. Yes, there are Marvel Avengers posters there. And then this is kind of where I film. Just, I know some of you are wondering about it. Or maybe you're not, and I've just shown you for no reason. There we go. Lewis Skelly picks out a brilliant pass through the lines that finds Jesus. And it's not too dissimilar to a pass he played. I mean, it is kind of, it's pretty different. But that ball through the lines we saw for Sterling, I think when was it Waneri who scored his first goal for the Arsenal first team against Bolton in the Carabao Cup. It's that kind of similar move where he picks Jesus through the lines, who then plays a really lovely ball with his left foot across the box to Saka. Makes it such a great ball that it's a really easy, simple finish for Saka. And Arsenal 1-0 up. But, excuse me, we should have been 3 or 4-0 up by that point. Or maybe there was 2 big chances before, 2 after, I can't remember. But basically, Gabby Jesus has played through twice. Once by a brilliant pass from Jakub Kiwior. By the way, I thought it was fantastic. And actually, I think the best way to go through his match report is actually to go through the players. So we'll do that in a sec. There's a lovely, lovely ball over the top to Gabby Jesus, who's through on goal, and he just miskicks it and kind of fires it into the outstretched leg of the goalkeeper. Then he's through again. Martinelli does well to win the ball back. And he's through again, Jesus, and he just kind of, I don't know, he waits too long. The deflection takes it towards the keeper. That's saved again. Martinelli, I think, was offside. There's a good moment. Ødegaard wins the ball back. He's through 1-on-1, and he puts it wide. And you're thinking, look, you can miss one. Haaland, I saw tonight against Juve. You know, De Bruyne put it on a plate for him. You're thinking this is textbook Haaland. Tries to scoop it, the keeper makes a save. The very, very, very best can miss these chances. Don't get me wrong. But 4 in one game, that's not good enough, team. That's really, and some of you say, well, the Martinelli one was offside. Okay, cool, but he's still got to finish it, right? He's still got to put it in the back of the net, and then we can let the VAR check do its thing. So yeah, I thought that was a really disappointing aspect to what was otherwise a very good performance on and off the ball. I think in so many ways, Arsenal were brilliant tonight. But you've got to punish teams, and so that question about quality will kind of keep coming up, because it's like, you know, I think there's that great saying. I think Tobes might have said it on the Big Six. Don't accept in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat, I think. And basically, if he'd missed, let's talk about Jesus, right? If he'd missed those chances, those 2 chances against Fulham on the weekend when we really needed them back in the net, you know, we'd have gone mental. And so I can't really just laugh it off against Monaco and go, what's he like, eh, Gabriel Jesus? I mean, it's easier to, because we won 3-0 and we were brilliant and he wasn't the only one. But ultimately, it's like a really disappointing element towards otherwise a really good performance from Jesus. I thought defensively he was really, really good. Like winning ball back a lot. I thought he led the press superbly. I thought his link-up play was much better. I thought he did some really good things on the ball. But when you're wearing the 9 on your back, there's an expectation that you put one or at least 2 of those away, and that was slightly disappointing. But what a brilliant assist for Saka, I must say. I thought that was a really, really great cross. And it started with Miles Lewis-Skelly picking him out. And we talked about 2 players there, Lewis-Skelly and Jesus. Let's go through the rest of the 11. Because like I said, I think that's going to shape my conversation around these players the most. Raya, very solid, very good, did everything he needed to do brilliantly, with no real dramas. Distribution was good. Some lovely passes at times, 1 or 2 that went, were mismeasured, but pretty much all of them, bar maybe 1 or 2, like I said, were fantastic. And you go through the back four. I mean, Partey, look, I think Partey's having a really good stint at right back. I mean, basically, if you're annoyed that Arteta's messing around with his position and weakening our midfield to get him in at right back, that's totally fair, and I've complained about that. But in terms of how Partey's actually doing at right back, I think he's doing pretty well, to be fair. And I thought that was the same tonight. Saliba continues to just be in the conversation for our best player. I think with Ødegaard, Saka, Rice, Gabriel, he knocks on that door, Saliba. I think he's the one, and I'm not saying this is right, but I think he's the one that if you asked our rival fans, who is an undisputed world-class player at Arsenal, I think he's the one they'd go, yes, Saliba is. You saw that level tonight again. Kiwior, I mean, I mentioned his brilliant pass to Jesus, but I thought everything on and off the ball was brilliant from Kiwior. I thought he did really, really well. And if it weren't for that 1 goal against Fulham, we conceded against Fulham, where I also think Saliba was to blame as much as Kiwior, I think we'd be saying he's put in 3 terrific performances in a row, because otherwise everything else he did at Fulham was really good too. And then Lewis-Skelly, talked about, brilliant. No more needs to be said. But yeah, terrific and well done to him. I think could easily have been man of the match. I thought Declan Rice was great in the 6. Some of his switch passes were fantastic. I thought he had a really good range on him. I thought he knew when to carry, drive forward. I thought he played some lovely balls through the lines as well. And basically, that's the midfield I want to see. Personally, I want to see Ødegaard, Rice and Mourinho more. And to explain that more, I've got to talk about Mourinho. Quickly on Ødegaard. Not at his best in the last 2-3 games, but fine. And did some really nice things as well. Going over to Mourinho, this isn't a player ratings video, but like I said, I just feel like I can talk about the elements of the game more by going through the players. Then we're getting to Mourinho. Now, Mourinho, I thought was really interesting tonight, because I saw on X, formerly known as Twitter, that a lot of people weren't impressed at all by Mikel Mourinho. A lot of people were, just sort of saying he's all right at best. He's sort of bogs down to keep things ticking. I thought he was much more than that. I thought on 3 occasions, I counted him in the first half, making a wonderful underlapping run for Martinelli, which Martinelli did pick out, very akin to how Granit Xhaka did it in that kind of final season at Arsenal. And I kind of thought we've lacked that. And people were saying Martinelli was poor tonight. I didn't think he was great. But at the same time, he was much quicker in finding that pass to Mourinho. There were certainly more combinations there. I also thought he looked after possession and held the ball up quite a bit better and was driving some errors, winning fouls. Problem is, I still think there's a slight petulance, and to be honest, he could have been sent off. The yellow card that he took, fine. There's a counter and he broke up the play. I don't mind that yellow. But he almost picked up a second and then a third, all within, well, the third would have been a second, but on 2 separate occasions, he picked up a second yellow card. And they all came within like a minute or so. And I thought, this is... See, when people said I was getting onto him too much after Fulham, it was that kind of like, blood to the head moment where you just think, we could be down to 10 men in a second. We're only 1-0 up. And I thought, actually, that was as part of the frustration with his performance as many other things. But I did think he was otherwise better. And I do think Mourinho gave him more combinations. I also thought Mourinho, was really good in just sort of the midfield, just kind of keeping things ticking. And look, people keep saying, well, he's kind of nothing special. But how many midfields out there are kind of special across the board? And I mean special. And Rice and Ødegaard are £200 million players. I think you need someone in there who just keep things moving as well and is very dependable. I think Mourinho's that and more. I think he did some really nice things on the ball. And like I said, I thought he really helped the left 8 position, left-hand side, have a little bit more variety to the attack. It wasn't perfect, but give them more games, and I think they'll get there. I certainly saw more encouraging signs from that. So, listen, maybe you guys thought Mourinho was really poor, but I've seen a lot online. I thought he was good, and I thought he helped personally. Jesus, I've talked about, not really much more I want to say there. And Saka, look, probably gets man of the match for the 2 goals. Of course, Havertz does really well when he comes on to hurry the goalkeeper, then gives it away, makes a mess of it. And then Saka puts it in the back of the net, and of course it's his shot, and then cannons off. I haven't watched the replay back. Was it Havertz or the defender? Can't remember. And then it's 3-0. And look, that's a very, very good night in Europe. And let me say this, right? we can have our troubles with what's going on in the Premier League and our concerns. That's absolutely fair. But this Champions League is its own competition, its own right, and it is one where we are amongst Europe's elite, and we want to show what we're about. And we're third in that table, and we've won 4, drawn 1, and lost 1 of our 6 games. Liverpool lead the way with 6 wins, but we're right up there. Other teams are making much harder work of this competition in this format. And actually, when you're taking the whole season into account, I mean, I was saying a while back that we can end December, okay, however many points off Liverpool, we'll find out, but also in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and also looking really good on the European stage. And if that's the case, you're saying, okay, the Premier League title race, you can have your questions, but as a season, things are, as a whole season, it looks a lot better when you look outside and you look at the rest of the competitions. Man United at home in the FA Cup's going to be, tougher than you'd like for this early in the FA Cup, but an opportunity to knock out a giant and try and progress there. And we see, man, there's lots to play for, and that's what I was talking about with Shiroi as well. But we are doing the bits in Europe, we really are. I think on another day we could have beaten Inter with the performance we put, especially that second half and the first half. And yeah, I think we're more than holding our own in Europe, so credit to the team for that. But I want to see more of Odegaard, Rice and Marino. And I want to see more of Lewis Skelly, because I thought he was really, really good. But I certainly want to see more of us finishing our one-on-ones. We need a one-on-one coach next. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. And I'll catch you all very soon.